Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a layered haircut video on how to cut your own layers at home because I've been getting a lot of requests from all of you that want to see that layered cut, and I want to do a little disclaimer. This is a video for longer hair with longer layers. I will be doing a short one later on, and I will be posting on my Instagram and Facebook when that video will come out. All right, and now we will get to it, guys. So let's start with what you will need for your layered haircut. First, you will need either a cape covering, so that way you don't mess up your nice clothes or get hair all over the place. If you do not have a cape, you can use a towel, and I've showed you in my other videos how to do that. Basically, you're gonna take your hair, clip it up. And if you don't have a clip, you can also use rubber bands, guys. And then you just take the towel and you can either tie it and tuck it like so that way your arms are a little free, or you can just take a rubber band, got it. And then you just take the rubber band over the top like this, so then you have it secured. So drape or towel for covering. Next, we need combs. Combs are a big one. I will say, if you have combs in your house, just use what you have. Don't go out and buy something new. If you want something that I have, I can link the list below of what I'm using today. Obviously, a wide tooth comb. Once you wet your hair, you need to comb it out. A spray bottle, if you've gotten out of the shower and your hair dries really fast, which you should watch my treatment video, because if your hair is drying fast, it is because it is dried out. So I got a new water bottle this time, because I know if you guys watch my other videos, I have a blooper at the end of my other video where I was struggling with my water bottle. This one's cool because it's a continuous spray. Let's see if you guys can see it. But it just keeps spraying, so I love this one. This one is by ColorTrak. I love it. I'm obsessed with it right now. This is my favorite water bottle. Right, I will put the link below of the spray bottle that I absolutely love right now. The most important part of this, obviously, is your scissors. And I will not be using texturizing shears today. I know that if you have thick hair, you probably will want to do that, but I will do a video on how to texturize your hair with texturizing shears. If you want to see that video, go ahead and comment below and let me know you want to see how to use the thinning shears if your hair is on the thicker side and you're just dying to kind of thin it out. As far as my shears, I'm using the Olivia Garden 6 inches right now. These are my favorite. I love the way they cut, and they're just like easy to move. They're nice on my wrist. And I'll link that below too. They're a little bit more reasonable in price. And I recommend using hair cutting shears. Walmart has them, Target has them. Just use actual hair cutting shears. Do not use like nail clippers, your mom's paper craft scissors, your kitchen shears. It will give you split ends. It is awful. Use professional hair cutting shears. They cut very differently, much sharper, better for your hair. This is like my #1 rule. Do not use anything but hair cutting shears. Start by wetting down my hair. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but I love it. Okay, now that I've gotten my hair pretty wet, our first step is going to be sectioning off the hair. So you want to part exactly down the middle. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I want to part to my side, and I usually part more to the left than to the right. But if you part to your side, basically what's gonna happen is you're gonna have, if you miss that part and you don't part in the exact same spot every time, which is really hard, is you're over directing the hair, which means that the hair is a little bit longer on this side. It's being over directed to the side. So if you cut it when it goes back over and you basically part even just a slight bit over, you're gonna have a few of these strands that like, you're just like, why are they so long? I don't understand where this long piece came from. That is the reason why, because you're over directing it. You have to think your hair, the top here is longer because it has to overlap that other hair at the bottom. And if you cut it straight, this piece you pull over is gonna be longer than the piece underneath that. So this is why you always wanna part down the middle so everything is even. So we're gonna part directly down the middle to start out with. This part of your comb or a rat tail. And then you just basically go to the middle of your eyebrows and you go straight back over the hair. And then you grab the hair on this side of the pick and you pull out like that. that is pretty centered to me. I like where it's at. And obviously you're gonna have a lot of knots, guys. You can see on this side. I like to comb through, starting from the bottom, working my way up with a wide tooth comb and getting the bigger knots out first, because it's just nicer for your hair. So now that we have it split in half all the way to the back, so the first layering technique I'm going to show you is the stairs. I'm basically just gonna show you the bare basics of layering, just because I want the concept to be easy to grasp. So I'm starting with the stairs because it's a little bit easier of a layering tech if you just want a little bit of funness in the front. What you're gonna do is you're gonna start at the crown of your head where it peaks, so it's flat, and where it peaks, you take your comb and you're gonna put right on the part, and then you're gonna take your finger in front of your earlobe, and you're going to drag that comb to your finger, and that is gonna give you a straight line. And then you're going to peel back the other hair and pull forward. Do you see how straight that line got in the front right there? And that's because you're trying to match your comb to your finger, so you can do it in your head and you'll get a straighter line. If you sit there and just try to get it to the front, it ends up being several different places. I've just learned over the time, for like easy to do, is just take your comb, the pick where you can part, and then pull it to your pointer finger, perfectly parted for you. So I like to start with the front if you're gonna do the stairs. If you have a little bit of thinner hair, what I do recommend is going a little bit closer to the hairline with this, just for the sole fact that you want more hair back here and thicker hair. If you have medium length like I do, or medium thickness, then what you're gonna wanna do is go right to that ear, come a little bit before the sideburn if you have thinner hair, okay? So now that we have our front section sectioned off, what I'm gonna do with the two back sections is I'm gonna take it and do just a little twisty. And like I said, you can use a rubber band. Today I'm using clips, and then you just clip to the one side, and I would go up and down, that way you can catch it and make sure it stays on that side. Get this one out of the way. All right, so now that we have those clipped off, and we only have our front sections here, I'm going to show you a simple, easy trick. So the easiest way to do this is have your scissors already in your hand. I like to use my ring finger, and there's usually always a little slant here. Put your pinky on top of that and your two fingers on top. And then you have your thumb down here for the bottom part. And this will keep your wrist straight while you're cutting as well. You'll get used to that after a while, because it gets pretty awkward when you're just trying to cut like with regular scissors, like this or like this. Whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want to use your pointer finger and your middle finger, that's fine as well. You should use your ring finger. It's more ergonomically correct for your wrist, but just whatever you feel comfortable with, that you feel like the scissors are sturdy. So take that first section, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it down, and what I want you to do is slightly tilt your head at an angle, looking towards the ground and your hair. And make sure all of that hair is straight, perfectly straight and smooth. And if you need to, remember how I told you in the other video how to trim your hair? Use your index finger and your middle finger to place on top of the comb like a scissor and push down, so that way your hair is even. Okay, so I'm not gonna trim too much. I do see right here that I do need a little bit. So basically what I did is I'm at an angle. And the reason why you wanna be at an angle like this is because, do you see how that last one dropped out? That's gonna be my longer piece. These are gonna be my shorter pieces. And my hand's like at a vertical, pointing up. And what I want you to do is cut behind your hand. So take the hair that you can see like this and face it towards you, so you can see what you need to cut. And so we're gonna cut basically this angle to make it straighter. And just cut straight down in front of our fingers. Be careful not to cut your fingers, obviously, but basically now you see how this dropped out. That piece is longer, that piece is longer, that piece is longer, all the way to the top. So that's where you get your nice stair effect. And the higher the angle, the shorter your top strand is gonna be, and the longer your bottom strand is gonna be. So if you want that bottom strand to be longer, you can bring it all the way out almost to like a 45 degree, but you can bring it to a 90 degree. And then this part is gonna be shorter. So if I cut it here, it's gonna hit me right here and it's gonna be closer to the jawline. But you want to bring it out at an angle so that way it looks more graduated. You can slide cut, and I've seen people do this. If you're comfortable with it, you can do it. Slide cutting is nice too. However, you have to know what you're doing with slide cutting because it can end really badly. I've seen a few TikTok videos. I always say it's not bad. It was just not the haircut for you. But anyways, with the slide cut, you want to hold your hair completely straight, and basically what you're going to do is cut an angle very slowly all the way down. And I'll do that with this side, but I'm going to go ahead and fix it because I want both my sides to be even. So I'll show you what a slide cut is on this side. And I will show you how to hold your hands for a slide cut too for those front stairs. But basically, still have your finger over your comb, and you're gonna scissor cut down and away. But for slide cutting, it's a little bit different because you don't, like if you were gonna cut just like how we did on the other side, with this side, you would just go underneath your finger and keep it at a straight line once you get to the angle, like so. See how my finger is straight down? Then you're gonna bring it to your face, but you're gonna hold it pretty taut so that this hair doesn't move, just this hair. And then you would cut up in a straight line. But for slide cutting, it's a little bit different. And slide cutting is a little bit more scarier, guys, if you've never done it before. Basically, you're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna go at an angle. And the more angle you go, the shorter your layers are gonna be. Longer and less, it's gonna be more gradual. So you're gonna simply start where you want in the face. So if you want it to start on collarbone here, you're gonna pull it out from the collarbone, measure your collarbone, and then you're gonna slide cut slowly as the hair comes out. Don't go in there really heavy and then just cut because you'll have this chunk. I'm not really a fan of slide cutting just because I did show you guys that because I've seen a lot of videos on that, and I just want to explain how slide cutting works. But I would do, if you're not comfortable with your shears, I would do it the way that I'm doing it just because it's more accurate than slide cutting. So let's go back to how I was doing it. So you're gonna comb the hair out and you're gonna put your fingers on top of that comb, pull down at an angle, right about there, and then you have the hair that you wanna cut. You can see, and you're gonna bring it towards yourself so that way you can see what you're cutting. And then you're simply just gonna cut straight up, like so. And I always say, rule number one, cut less, you can always cut more. Because if you cut too much, you're gonna be upset. So always cut less, get comfortable, then start cutting more. Now that we have our layers in the front here done with the stairs, I'm gonna show you the little flip that a lot of people like to do if your hair is longer and you do have it straight and you just want these fun little pieces here to kind of like go back or wear in a ponytail and have up. You're basically gonna cut these separately, and I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. So basically what you're gonna do is you're going to take a small triangle from the top of your head. So feel again where your flattest part of your head is, then hold. So mine starts to peak right here. Then put your finger right there. And then what you're gonna do is you take your comb and go from there to where your eyebrow point is. And then stop once you feel like you're on your forehead. I'm gonna show you really quick. That is all the hair that you want for that piece. Same here. So it's in about an inch, and you wanna make sure it's pretty even. So you can see my triangle is pretty even. But basically for this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that little piece, put all the rest of the hair behind the ears, and you're gonna comb this side down, and you're gonna bring it to the opposite direction. The reason why you're over directing it this way is because you're creating a longer piece right here and then the shorter piece up here. So that way it's a gradual back. You can always go shorter, and the way you measure it, how short you want it, is if you want it to cheekbone, you would take it here, you would comb to that point, and then you would drag it over across the face to the other side, and then cut up. But that is gonna give you a really short side swept starting from your cheekbone, if that is what you wanna achieve, to have just like that right there. But if you have longer hair and you just want these fun pieces, my suggestion is to start with chin, because then you'll have that layer back. But anything you want behind your ear, you wanna be a little bit below cheekbone. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to do that really quick. So we're gonna come the opposite direction on this side, and then we're gonna cut straight up on that side. Move my comb so you can see. So like that. So that way I get that gradual back. And then the same thing goes with the other side. We're gonna cut straight up on that side. So then when you put your hair in a ponytail, you'll have these cool little pieces. That's all the front layering that I wanna show you guys right now. All over layering is a little bit different. So on this part, you're gonna pull the hair out. And I'm gonna show you in a basic, quick, easy way. Okay, so for longer layers, you can cut this section into two, which I'm going to do, or you can do it in one, depending on how thick your hair is. If your hair is very thick, I would cut it into two. My hair, I can cut it into one, it's fine. But do you see how my hair is at an angle right here at the triangle? The lower you go, the less layering you're gonna get. So right here, if you look, this is the shorter piece, this is gonna be the longer piece. When I pull it down, I'm basically just gonna have these cute little layers right here. If you want shorter layers, you're going to have to go up higher, meaning going straight out across. So if you go straight out across and cut, this layer here is going to be shorter, and then you have the longer layers here, and it's gonna be basically like about 2 inches. Now, if you want even shorter layers, probably about like 4 inches up, basically you're gonna go at an angle up here, and then you're gonna cut straight down. That gives you the shorter here. If you have any questions or comments about why I'm elevating my hair so much to get shorter layers, because this is the shorter distance from here, and then when you go here, it kind of graduates down, and then you get shorter layers. Do you see how that one came up here as the other ones were down here? But anyways, I always like feedback and comments, so just let me know if there's something I can change or better my videos as well. Okay, guys? All right, so basically I want longer layers, so I'm gonna start down here because I don't want a dramatic change with my layers. And you can see all that is see-through, like I said in my trim video, that needs to be cut. And I'm not cutting quite a bit off for this video just because I just want to trim my hair again. All right, and we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Again, guys, we're gonna pull it out. We're gonna put our comb at the top of the hair. We're gonna pull through, and then we're gonna take our index finger, peace sign, and we're going to go up and against the comb, lay our hands flat, and then pull out like that. And make sure that you kind of go the same distance on this side as you did on that side, so that way you don't have uneven hair. And so I'm cutting actually on the back side on this side, and I cut on, so you'll have to get used to going back and forth. But basically, I'm just gonna cut a little bit there, and then that one's done. And then you always want to, what we call in hairstyling is cross-check, which you basically just take your fingers, you start at a point, and you go all the way down, and they should pop out at the same time. So that means that your haircut was even there. All right, so now we're going to go to the back section. And I do want to let you guys know that this will become a V layer because you are doing it on yourself. The reason being is because you're over directing from the back to the front. So basically these pieces are longer in the back, so you will tend to get that layered V look by cutting your hair this way. If you want the U look, but still have the layers at home, basically all you wanna do is have somebody just trim off that little point just at the bottom, and your layers will still be V, but you won't really notice because your bottom is more rounded. And I do prefer the more rounded look, so I'll have my husband cut off that little bit of that V at the bottom just so it's more rounded. So now we're going to go to the next section, and you're going to use your guideline from the front section, like probably about an inch from that front section, and then you're gonna take your first inch section to the back, and you're gonna match it with that section. And so then you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna put your comb at the top, and then you're gonna take your peace sign, and you're gonna put it at the top, pull down the same length. And if you need to do this in a mirror to see the distance of the angle that you chose, you should. This is about the angle that I had when I cut the last strand. So I'm gonna check, and it is. And I can see where I did my last cut, and I'm basically just going to do that cut one more time here. And then if you can see, once I comb out, this first will drop. See that? The bottom layer dropped first. So then we're gonna take another section from the back. And like I said, if you do wanna do this in chunks, you can, but I like to do it gradually all the way around. And on this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of go a little bit backwards. And the reason being is because you kind of want to do it in, that way it's a transition back. So you're not pulling all your layers to the front and then you have these longer pieces in the back. So you kind of want to do it in stages. So here, 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 as you're going with your layers. And like I said, if you don't mind, if you have a little bit of longer layers, you just want fun in the front, then you can bring everything to the same guideline, but you are gonna have those back layers be a little bit longer than those front layers because you're over directing to the front. All right, so now I have 2 more sections on this side, and then we will move over to doing the same thing on the opposite side. And I'm pulling it a little bit back. So as you can see, the first section that I did was a little bit front and in front of my ear. The second section was like right by my ear, and then this one's a little bit behind my ear in the angle. The angles are always, this angle is always the same, but the angle while you're cutting back is going to transition back. So I pulled it back here, and now it's really tight here, right? And you're not gonna let go of your tension in your fingers. You're gonna bring it forward so the tension drops here, but the tension never drops here. That way you can see it in the front again, and you can cut the hair that you need to cut there and use your fingers. Now for a last section, and I always like to make sure, especially if you did accidentally unclip your hair, I can still feel this one's twisted so I can feel where the rest of it needs to be cut. But this is our last section. And basically all I'm gonna do is bring this one all the way back here, and I'm gonna hold the tension, and then I'm gonna keep my fingers tight and just pull it forward. And then this is all I need to cut here in the back. And then that's it for one side. And then you're just gonna repeat on the other side. Now cut that in half, right before your ear. And if your hair is drying out, make sure you re-wet again, don't be lazy. You definitely want that hair to be saturated with the water. And then we're gonna comb all that section evenly. And then peace sign again, guys. And this one's gonna go up and hold and grab your, you can grab your comb with these fingers here and then pull down to that same length that we had on the other side, same angle, but this one is in front of your ear. Keep the finger tension and then pull it across your face and to the front of your face, and then cut directly where that finger is. And if you guys are afraid to cut your fingers, cut a little bit further away, it's fine, but just make sure that you cut about the same length away from the fingers as you did on the other side, or your haircut will be uneven. And get all of the hair, and remember this one is going behind, technically behind the shoulder if you think about it. But you're basically going to be pulling back and away from the ear, out to there, all the way back, like a half circle. All right, and then we're just gonna trim off that bottom there. And there you go. Okay, now let's make sure our hair is all completely even again, guys. Pull it all the way down. And it popped out at the same time, so our hair is even, and that is how you do your longer layers, guys. So if you have any questions about layering, or you want to see shorter layers on longer hair as well, go ahead and put it in the comments below. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. I super appreciate all of you. Make sure you comment below and give this video a thumbs up. Bye, guys. Have a great day.